G'day everyone, back to nosp3 today with map 13, the grid. Figuring out a route for this one wasn't too hard, but learning it was a bit of a pain. The map looks very samey, so I wasn't really able to rely on any kind of visual indicators to remember where to go. Instead, I basically just had to memorise the path I'd taken the first 3 minutes or so. The time definitely could go a fair bit lower, both through better inviting RNG and also just playing more aggressively and clearing up the turret cybers towards the end, but I'm happy enough with this time. Anyway, let's get into the demo. Alright, so we start just by clearing imps away from the switch. Trying to dodge as much damage as we can. And I grab the plasma. I run around the back here normally to grab the med kits, but I need to waste a little bit of time and bait the pinkies away from this right hand wall so I can run up quickly and hit this switch, which opens up the big fight. So from here I grab the BFG and I push forward through these pinkies. There's a Megasphere just here, but I don't want to grab it just yet. I'll be getting a Megasphere at the start of the very next fight. And then I push back to this next switch. And that switch opens up 3 teleporters in that central section near the cybers that we were just passing through before. And I just sit here for 5 or 10 seconds or so just to bait the cybers over to the right hand side so that I can push back and get to the teleporter without getting gibbed. So this fight, it can be a little bit RNG at the start, depending on how quickly the Revenants aggro the cybers. Basically just a case of circle strafing around, hopefully don't eat a rocket, and keeping an eye on each one of the Revenant pillars. Once I see the Revenant pillar is pretty close to clear, I'll rush in and do a close range BFG shot on the cyber. That's usually, one shot's usually enough to finish him off. Unfortunately here I end up taking 2 rockets as I'm going to clear it out because the last couple of Revenants weren't aggroed onto the cyber, which is unfortunate. It means I'm going to have to take one of the Megaspheres when I leave this fight. If I manage to get through this fight on and leave at about 300 or so health, then I can skip picking up a Mega before I go into the next fight, which makes the latter fights a little bit easier. So just a matter now of clearing up the last couple of revs that the cybers didn't kill and hitting all 4 of the switches. Run straight into the last Revenant rocket. We got some health here to top us up. So run out and grab a Mega, and then I want to go basically around the back of this pillar and start up this fight first. The reason I go to this one first is there's a whole bunch of cacos that spawn here. I don't want to clear them out in this fight. I want to, they can just fly into the main area. So I want to do this first so that they have the most time to float over to the main area, so that I can clean them up later with everything else. So once those revs are done, this teleporter will open, and then we just got to run down these 2 little L-shaped corridors, hit this switch, and we can teleport out. Now I don't want to take a Mega before I go to the next fight because I want to save. I've basically got 2 Megas left. I need to save 1 for the 4th wing, and I also want to save 1 for the cleanup just so that I can be a little bit aggressive when clearing up the cybers. Thankfully this fight's really straightforward. You just need to rush around, hit the 4 switches, and then you can push out. You generally aren't going to take an extreme amount of damage in this fight, just a little bit of chip damage from the imps. So now that we've done those 3 wings, this last switch will open up. That will raise some stairs for us to be able to access the 4th wing. And I'll just push back around and grab a Mega before I push into it. This 4th wing is definitely the hardest of the 4 wings that we need to take care of. It's probably the main area that is going to get me killed. Outside of the start, getting to the first teleporter and not getting blocked off by cybers, which can easily kill you. This area is actually pretty mechanically difficult, and there's a decent amount that you need to be aware of. So I try and basically just focus on clearing out as many Revenants as I can early on before they filter out over these ledges and start flooding the main area. There's a whole bunch of cacos and astral cacos that spawn in that corner, just kind of in front of us here. I'll deal with those a little bit later. My main priority is just clearing out some Revenants so that it takes longer for them to start pressuring me, basically. That also gives a decent amount of time for the Hell Knights to clear out of this little hole here, which is a decent enough safe space. although you can easily take some rockets. The sniping sibes, especially the ones kind of on the left and right hand side from where I'm looking at the moment, they don't tend to infight with much, so you kind of have to be pretty conscious of those rockets coming in. I wasn't doing a particularly good job of it here, and ate I don't think I took any direct rockets, but I definitely took a couple of pretty close splash rockets. Anyway, we run back towards the entrance and grab a megasphere. This is basically the rest of the health that I've got available to me in this fight. There is another megasphere there, but I don't want to take it yet. I basically need to clear out this entire fight before I can afford to take that megasphere. The archviles that are occasionally targeting me at the back of the room, I want to have a full megasphere before I push in and clear those guys, because I know I'm going to take a decent amount of damage when I do that. So I'm kind of just trying to play as well, not necessarily as safely as I can, but just trying to avoid as much damage as I can through the cleanup phase here. The other thing I need to be aware of is all of the cybers that survive the infighting in that main area, they push up to the entrance. They're just kind of behind me now. They can easily rocket you if you're not paying attention to what they're targeting. You just need to be kind of conscious of what revenants are going to be infighting with them and avoid getting too close to their path. So now that most of the revenants are dead, I'm going to start working down these cybers. Got a lot of cell ammo in here. It's kind of just a very convenient place to clear them up. And I just decided to take that last mega then, just as a bit of an insurance policy. I mean, I don't want to be taking any direct damage now, but just in case I take a bit more splash than I'm expecting. A little bit awkward here. I want to clear out the last couple of cybers before I work on these archviles, but you know, I think he got distracted by something towards the main area, so he wandered off and I wasn't able to finish him off. So I just decided to go in for the archviles. So I sent a couple of BFG balls towards them early on just to kind of weaken them up, and then I just push straight over. It's very easy to get blocked off here and just fall straight into the pit. It's an instant death pit, so can't really afford to be falling at all. Thankfully I managed to clear him out without taking too much damage. And then I've got this line of archviles which nearly kills me, but I'm able to finish them off. So now with that done, just want to clear out the rest of the stuff that's managed to wander up to this entrance, and then I've got a bunch of imps over on my left that I'll have to clear out as well. And there's also 3 archviles in the corridor behind the imps as well. Pick up the mega there. I do have a full megasphere left in the main area that I'm going to take for the cleanup, but having a mega armor means that when I teleport back in, I can pick up some medkits immediately and be safe from any kind of instant damage. Most of the stuff in the main area is going to be dead by now, but it's still nice just to have a little bit of insurance. Again, just doing one more check to see what else has wandered up to the entrance here. I'll clear these guys out before I move on. I don't want to risk having any cacos wander into this room but just before I teleport out, and then, you know, getting stuck in here and me not being able to clear them out. Need to open up this secret and tag it before we move on. This secret just opens up a 4th teleporter in that central column. Leads to a final fight that we clear out basically after we're done with everything in this room. So most stuff tends to kind of congregate over in this area, the stuff that doesn't manage to wander up to the entrance of that previous fight. So I just come through and clear it out as best I can. Now, I do need to be pretty careful at this point. There's a whole bunch of turret cybers around the edges of the room. They can hit you at some angles that you don't necessarily expect them to, so you do need to be pretty careful. It's just kind of a matter of keeping moving and just being aware of kind of what cybers behind you could potentially be hitting you at any one time. Knowing what areas are safe to kind of do back and forth strafing in versus what areas you need to, you know, be constantly moving through and can't you know, revisit spots that you were just in a few seconds ago, that sort of thing. As you can see, I've got some rockets coming in from behind me from the cybers that are over on the other side. That's why I'm doing kind of these wider strafes here at the moment while I'm killing these guys. Pretty safe when I'm killing these two. There's not much that can hit me from the other side of the room. And obviously this whole segment could go a lot faster if you manage to get really good infighting luck between those cybers and the you know, like the remnants that are in this main fight. But there's no controlling that. You just have to get lucky. It doesn't typically happen all that frequently in my experience. Now we don't really have to worry about having any cybers at our back anymore. We've cleared out everything on the other side of the room. So it's just the ones on this side that we need to finish off now. Getting a little bit busy there with rockets. I should have been probably a little bit more cautious there. I was getting a bit overconfident. And just these three left now. Alrighty, 4880 is the correct kill count I need to be on before I go into the final area. And this area is quite easy. It's just a few cyber demons and some secret switches that we need to locate. I don't bother going in for 2 shots against the first few guys, but once I start getting a little bit low on ammo, I will. One last secret switch I need to hit in here. I just need to be careful not to hit the teleporter and waste time by being teleported back into the main area. A bit awkward shot against that guy then, so I end up having to go for a third shot. Let's bait this guy out to the open. Could be going a little bit faster through this section, but there's no massive need to at the moment. And once this final cyber dies, the exit will lower for us, and that also will spawn in a few imps. I'm not really sure what the purpose of the imps is. They're never any kind of threat or anything like that. Just a little bit of time waste at the end. And we're done. Alrighty everyone, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Catch you later.